How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to That Car Vlog channel. If you don't already know, I'm Andy, and today I've got this beautiful thing for you, a 2017 Porsche 718 Cayman. I am very excited to review this car. Before I get started, of course, I do want to thank the folks at West Chevrolet of Alcoa, Tennessee for allowing me to use this Porsche Cayman for today's review. So once you're done watching this video, make sure to click the link in the description below where you can go to their website, check out their amazing inventory. All right. Let's get back to the Porsche Cayman. This is pretty much Porsche's entry-level mid-engine sports car, which falls in the lineup right below the 911 rear-engine sports car. The 911s are extremely famous and extremely fun cars to drive, although the Cayman is too, and a lot of journalists will actually say that from a pure driving standpoint, the Cayman is the one you want because of the rear engine layout. Now, this car I have here is a 2017, so it is 7 years old. I'm filming this in 2024, and this particular example is the base model of your Cayman. It's not a Cayman S, it's not a Cayman GTS 4.0, and it damn sure ain't a Cayman GT4 RS. So although this is a 7-year-old car, right now in 2024, the Cayman and the Cayman S still come with the same power plant options and the same power, except that now currently you have the option to get the GTS 4.0 and the Cayman GT4 RS. So aside from a few minor updates that have been done inside and outside of the car, this is pretty much the same thing. We're gonna take a tour of this and check out this very, very sweet automobile. I'm gonna start out like I always do, walking y'all around the outside of the car, checking out its styling. And like I keep saying, this is a beautiful car. You may even call it sexy. I love the way the Cayman looks. Coming down here, looking at these very nice LED headlights. And of course, you got the distinctive front haunches right there in the fenders that terminate into the headlights. Classic Porsche look, and definitely a great view from inside. Here, look down the front, you can see what I'm talking about, just how great that looks. Very, very Porsche right there. And that's one of many things Porsche does so well is styling. No matter how much they update their cars, they always make sure that you know when you look at one that it is a Porsche, and you're not wondering what in the world is that. No matter what their model, whether you know Porsches or not, you know it's Porsche. Let's come down low here. You got some grills to push some air into some radiators right there. I love the nice narrow turn signals down here in the bumper. LED, of course, they look really nice. Of course, right here, very nice looking Porsche badge right here on the front hood, or I guess the frunk lid. Coming down the side, you got these very, very nice 20-inch wheels on the Porsche Cayman. 235s up front, 265s in the rear. And I love the view of the drilled brake rotors right here behind them with the Porsche on the caliper. Looks really nice. Coming up here, of course, your fuel door is on the front right fender, as in any Porsche. I love that you half turn to take it off, and it has this little spot right there. You can put the cap. Half turn to tighten it, and I mean, it's just, even the gas cap looks great on this car. Of course, you got your air intakes right behind the doors, feeding in that engine right here behind this glass. Coming around back, I actually really do like this taillight design. It's a really good looking design. I love the narrow red strip for the brake and turn signals. And then of course, right here across the middle, you got the Porsche script all the way across the middle. That looks really nice. And right here, you got your center exit dual tip exhaust. This is not the factory exhaust. This is an aftermarket system by Soul Performance Products. And then coming around to the driver's side of the car, just a beautiful car all the way around. Now, this is your Cayman. This is not your Cayman Boxster, and it's not your Cayman Spider. Obviously, those are more convertible type cars. This is a coupe, but I do love the way this thing looks. Tell me that's not beautiful. I know the camera's in wide angle. It's a GoPro. It's the only option I have. Quit giving me crap in the comments about my camera angles. Now, there's a couple of exterior lighting touches that I really, really do like. And starting here up front, looking at your daytime running lamps, I love how Porsche makes these 4 points right here in the headlights. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really cool looking running lamps. I really like the way those look. Once again, something on modern Porsches, this comes up behind you, you pretty much know what's coming behind you. It's a modern Porsche. I just think those are some of the coolest looking DRLs on the market. And then you have the lighting situation here in the back. So right now I've got the headlights turned on. You see the nice narrow strip of taillight right there. And we're gonna press the brakes, and not only does that light up, but also the 4 points, 2 above and 2 below that, which looks really cool. Where in the world are the reverse lights on this thing? Check this out. I'm going to put it in reverse, and those 2 lower dots suddenly start lighting up in white instead of red, giving you your reverse lights on each side. That's really, really cool. Throw it back into park, those go back to red, release your brake, and it all goes back to that one line. I really, really do love the exterior lighting on this car. All right, we're gonna start opening this thing up in just a second, but first I want you to see the key to this thing. If you've never seen a Porsche key, this is so cool. I love how it's shaped like a car, like a Porsche. It's got the Porsche badge right there. Great detail, even though the camera probably isn't really gonna show that detail very well. Great detail on the hood on the key. And you got 4 buttons on it. Go and hit the button here to open the frunk and take a look at this thing. Inside the front trunk of the Porsche, or the frunk, not really a whole heck of a lot to see. It's a pretty deep storage area. You can get several bags in here, it looks like. Porsche badge right there looks really nice. And I love this right here. It's more of a bin. You can just lift right out and clean that out if you need to, and it doesn't mess up the carpet in here. Love that. Of course, your emergency release handle in case you kidnap someone very small, and a couple of panels here that pop out that have your tire inflator and tire sealer, because obviously you don't have a spare tire. Otherwise, there's really nothing that you're going to be able to access under here. Of course, you can see the brake fluid reservoir right there, but you can't actually access that without taking paneling off. Easy access for drivers, though, of course, for the windshield washer fluid. Really, those are the only two things that the consumer is going to be doing underneath this thing: adding washer fluid and storing things. And now we'll push the other button here, the rear trunk release, and lift this whole rear hatch right here. And you see, looking in here, you do get a decent small amount of storage back here. You're not getting as much as you are up front, but that's why you have two areas. You can probably still get at least a couple of bags in here. I'm not going to say you're going to get a golf bag in here. I mean, you might if you try hard. I don't know. But you get some more storage. You can put some grocery bags, maybe a couple of travel bags in here. Right here, underneath this right here is where your engine is going to be. There is no access to that, at least not by the average person. So sorry, I can't show you guys the engine today. But here's something I didn't realize about the Cayman. This is really cool. So you see these right here, you think, okay, maybe they're speakers. These are not speakers. Or maybe they're just decorative. They're sort of decorative, but check this out. Twist and pop this one off here, and this is where you're going to add coolant to the car. Pop this one off on the driver's side, and that's where you're going to add oil to the car. So there you go. The only mechanical interaction that the average consumer is going to have with their Cayman engine is adding oil or adding coolant. But right here above the engine, there is still a nice kind of partial shelf right here. There's a little bit of a divider right there to keep things from sliding. You get a couple of hooks to tie things down with. But really, that's about it. One interesting thing you have is these interesting little storage areas that slide open right here behind the seats and next to the rear windows. You get one on both sides of the car. Those look kind of awkward to access. They're there if you want to hide things and make it very inconvenient for someone to try to take them. Those are definitely some odd storage areas, but anywhere you can add storage in a car like this is a good thing. And right here, directly behind your rear deck lid, you've got this active rear spoiler, which will raise and lower itself with speed, or there's a button on the center console you can press to raise and lower this thing if you want to say flex on your friends. There it goes. Yeah, you know you want to see that spoiler up. Or you can push the button and bring it back down, but if you want to be maybe a little more subtle, although I don't know how subtle you're going to be in a beautiful Porsche like this. All right, let's climb on inside our Porsche Cayman. Now, although there's not a lot to see on this door panel, it's still a very nice panel. You got these pull-out storage pockets right here, which are kind of nice. You can pop that in there, nothing's going to come flying out. Very nice door release pull right here. Very nice grab handle with your Bose speakers in behind that. Bose, of course, sounding very nice. Right here's your door sill plate with the Cayman on it right here. This nice brushed aluminum looking thing. It's really nice. Couple of switches, one here to release your frunk, one here to release your rear hatch, and of course here's the controls for your fully adjustable power driver's seat. And here's a look at that driver's seat right now. So it's got very nice bolstering, because of course it does. It's a sports car. This thing will hug you in place nicely. I'm probably a little bit big for this thing, but it still feels very nice to sit in. Starting on the left side of your steering wheel, of course, you got your headlight controls, and of course, in classic Porsche styling, you got your ignition over here on the left side of the wheel. This, of course, is Porsche tradition that goes all the way back to running 24 hours of Le Mans. You got your ignition over here, you got your shifter on the right side, so drivers can jump in the car, fire it up with one hand, shift it into gear with the other, and theoretically take off much faster that way. Steering right here from the driver's seating position, look at this wheel. Very nice steering wheel with the Porsche logo in the middle, of course. Not a lot of buttons on this wheel. In fact, no buttons on the wheel itself whatsoever, except of course for your up and down paddle shifters right here to shift that automatic PDK transmission. Looking through the steering wheel now at the gauge cluster, in classic Porsche styling, you got your center mounted tachometer right there, right where you want it when driving a sports car. Definitely the more important gauge than the speedometer, which of course is located off to the left. Looks like it goes up to 175 miles per hour. And here on the right side of the cluster, you got a little screen right here with all kinds of different options. You got your gas gauge readout right at the top, and then you can cycle through all kinds of different options on that screen. Right here on the lower part of the right side of the steering column, you got the lever you're going to use to control this gauge cluster screen right here. We cycle through this. Going to start off here at the top with vehicle information such as boost pressure, temperatures, that kind of thing. Clicking down through there, of course, there's your audio readouts, phone. Here, of course, is a navigation map you're going to get right here. You get one in the center infotainment screen, but you also get a map right there in that screen as well. I do like that. Click down there, of course, there's your navigation information, turbo odometers, and your TPMS readouts. One option you're not seeing in here is the Sport Chrono, because that's not optioned on this particular example. Well, like I said, this is a stripped down base model, so no Sport Chrono package on this particular example. On the left side of the column, you got your lever to control your signals and your high beam headlights. And this button on the end actually is going to be for your voice controls. Down here on the lower left, you got your cruise control. On the right side, here's your wiper controls. And there's that, again, that lever to control your screen and your gauges. Coming down the center, here's your infotainment screen right here. It's a pretty nice looking, fairly responsive screen right here. Here's your home screen. Go to your app screen right here. You can have all kinds of things like Twitter and news and fuel prices, that kind of thing. Click down here, you got my screen, and this actually gives you 3 different panels you can customize to have whatever you want on them. So like this one is set up with a compass. And so up over here to the second screen, let's go down below and click option and set my screen to, and you're gonna be able to tell it from these menus whatever you want to see right here on this page layout. Kind of cool, you can configure those screens however you want to. Not only do you have the touch screen, you also do have an array of buttons right down here as well. You got some buttons to select different parts of the menus like tuner and media, source and phone, that kind of thing, navigation. Click on map, you get a decent little map right here. Obviously it's not the greatest map in the world, but it's still a nice map to go along with that one you get in the gauges. Click on car right here, you get different car information. So right here's your trip odometer settings. You get 3 different trip odometers. You get personal trip and trip since, I'm guessing, the last time it started, and total trip, so total time. You know, I'm not really sure. Anyway, but you get all kinds of different vehicle information. Go over here to assist, display park assist, and it, I don't know, does it think I'm too close to something? I don't know, let's get out of that. Anyways, without going into too much detail, it's a pretty nice, pretty responsive screen, and it has a CD player right down here. It's kind of nice, but you're not getting one of these for the infotainment, right? Below your infotainment screen is all of your typical climate controls laid out very nicely. A little fan speed control right here. You got your heated seat control for the left and for the right. And I love clicking these buttons. These are such satisfying buttons to click on. Just these buttons feel so nice to click. Even the toggle for the fan speed is, I mean, it's just so nice. Temperature control, same thing. I love the way these feel. Come back from the climate controls, here's the selector for your 7-speed PDK dual clutch automatic. You could also get this thing with a 6-speed manual, which obviously is the way to go. But for the quickest shifts, and in some cases the quickest speed and acceleration, you definitely want to go PDK. And just for everyone's entertainment, I'm going to try to tell you what PDK stands for. PDK stands for Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe, or whatever. Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe, which translates to Porsche double clutch transmission. Let's let ChatGPT be the one to actually say it.
In Porsche, PDK stands for Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe.
That's better. That's how you're supposed to say it. Can you tell I don't speak German? Back from the shifter, you got an array of buttons, most of which in this stripped down base model are going to be blank. You do have a few right here, such as your sport mode, traction control off button. Here's a button to control that rear wing. And of course, this button, the most important one, turns off your auto start stop. Back from that, you get an ashtray with cigarette lighter because German car. And behind that, a narrow, not very deep whatsoever, center console storage area with a USB type A port right there inside of it. As for what's behind the seats in your Porsche Cayman, nothing. Engine, that's what's behind the seats in your Cayman. Back up to the dashboard, you get a glove box here. It's of okay size. You get a USB type A port and an aux port right there, and a big thick owner's manual set. But if you've been looking around this thing as an American and going, okay, cool, but I don't see one single cup holder in this car. Well, if you've never seen a Porsche video before, then get ready to be amazed. We're gonna go right here above the glove box and push right here on the center of this trim piece, and that whole thing's gonna flip down. I'm gonna push right here, and there's a cup holder. Push over here, and there's another cup holder. Well, now you got 2 cup holders in this ugly area in the dash showing. Not a problem, just push that center trim piece back up, and now that covers everything in the middle, so you get cup holders, but you don't have to look at that ugly dash area. Lower that again, you just push these cup holders right back into place, close that trim up, and it's like they were never there. Up above, not very much of anything to see here. Standard rear view mirror, you get some controls for dome lights and whatnot. No sunroof option in this one. Who cares? All right, let's jump into the rear cargo area, where in a lot of mid or rear engine sports cars, you'd see the engine. In this one, this is merely where it's located. And let's go ahead and talk about all the powertrain options for your Porsche 718 Cayman. Now, whether you're looking at this one, the 2017, or the current 2024 models, the following 2 engine options are the same. You either get what's in this one, a 2-liter turbocharged flat 4, producing 300 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 right around 4.5 seconds with the PDK and Sport Chrono package, which this one does not have Sport Chrono. Top speed of right around 170. So that 175 mile an hour speedometer is actually adequate for this one. Then you can step up one level to the Cayman S. That gets you a 2.5 liter turbocharged flat 4, producing 350 horsepower, 309 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in that one, once again with PDK and Sport Chrono, 4 seconds flat, top speed of 177. Now, like I said, you can option these either with a 6-speed manual or the 7-speed PDK. I do kind of wish this was a manual. I reckon it'd be more fun, but we're still going to see how much fun we can have here with the PDK here in a minute. Then you step up to the current time here in 2024, and now you add the option of the Cayman GTS 4.0. That one gets Porsche's 4-liter flat 6, putting out 394 horsepower, and with your PDK, 317 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 3.8, top speed on that one of 182. Now, before we get to the absolute top of the line big boy, let's talk about pricing. Now, in 2017, this car right here would have started you at around $53,900. 7 years later, with inflation, yada, 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 this car is going to start you at around $72,008. Your Cayman S with a 2.5 would have started you $66,300. Now in 24, that's going to start you about $84,800. Focusing now strictly on current times, GTS 4.0 starts you at $99,007, and then you jump up to the big boy, the top of the line, most badass version. That's going to be the 718 Cayman GT4 RS. And yes, I have my phone. It's a lot of information to remember. This has, once again, Porsche's 4-liter flat 6, producing 493 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque. This also has Porsche's 4-liter flat 6, but now it produces 493 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 3.2, top speed 196. Your GT4 RS Cayman is going to start you $164,200. Now, this particular example is currently sitting on West Chevrolet's pre-owned lot with about 43,600 miles on it. The price they've got on this thing is just a little bit below $46,000. So let's get this thing out on the road, see what it drives like, and see if a 7-year-old Cayman with 43,000 miles for $46,000 is a good deal. Let's find out. All right, so I've heard a few journalists online saying they don't like the sound of the 2-liter flat 4. They just don't say it doesn't sound all that great. And from what I can tell watching those videos, they're kind of right. However, this one does have, of course, the sport mode. It also has this aftermarket exhaust from Soul Performance Products. So let's see what this thing sounds like with its current setup. I think it sounds pretty decent. All right, it's time to get out and drive this thing. But first, who wants to see a tall, fat American climb into a Porsche Cayman? Well, for your entertainment, here I am. Very simple, really. You back up, throw a foot in, gotta kick it up high, rotate, and you're in place. All right, now here's for the part I'm most excited about, as would any car lover, driving the Porsche Cayman. I was gonna let y'all know up front, excuse any shaky camera footage. I don't usually put the camera in this orientation on this mount, but I honestly couldn't think of an orientation I wanted more for driving a Porsche. And since my headband mount is broken, we're going camera mounted to the driver's side window. Anyway, enough of my little disclosures about my camera. Let's see what it's like to drive this car. Now, a lot of people, especially enthusiast owners and car reviewers, know what it's like to drive a car like this because they've driven plenty of cars like this. This will be my first Porsche experience. I've never driven a Porsche before. I'm not even sure that I've driven a German car before. I don't know, but I've definitely never driven anything of this caliber. I've driven a C8 Corvette and it was really great, really fast, great sound, handles amazing. But let's see what German performance is all about. And my tripod is in the floorboard over here, so if you hear anything rolling around, that's what that is. First of all, let's just talk about what it's like riding in this thing. The ride obviously is not soft. It's not beating you up per se, but every little thing you hit, you're feeling. I mean, every little bump in the road, which is expected. This is a sports car. It's not made for, you know, comfort and floating over bumps like a Rolls or even a Cadillac. This thing is meant for taking curves and having fun. Now, the seats are decently comfortable. They're very well bolstered. I gotta say that. I'm liking the bolsters on these seats. I am a bit big for them, but I'm a bit big for any sports car seat, so that's to be expected. Let's make the turn onto this road here and... oh man, just... oh my God, this thing does curves like nobody's business. Handling is absolutely on point with this car. Just, oh my God. Oh, it does so well. It does so well with handling. I think I'd like to run that back. Let's turn around. Now, it has not been in sport mode. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in sport mode. I don't know if that does anything to the suspension on this one. This car is not equipped with the PASM, that's Porsche's active suspension management. So I don't reckon it's gonna do all that much, but I do wanna run that back because that felt great. Now this is a pretty sharp 90-degree turn in Industrial Park, so, oh, it's just not a problem. This thing doesn't even think about it. Beautiful. Now that's another little caveat of filming videos for this particular dealership. I'm not allowed to get very many of them out on the road. It's just more of a preference of theirs, which is fine. I'm still very grateful to these people for letting me use cars for reviews. So I'm not going to argue one little bit. As always, I'm going to try to give you all the best possible review I can with said limitation. All right, let's do these curves again. I love this. This is great. This thing just does so well through curves. Oh, it handles the curves so nicely. I want so badly to take this car up to the tail of the Dragon. I want nothing more than to take this thing up there. I need to win the lottery because this, even this at 46,000 is still way above what I can have. Just so y'all know, not all car reviewers can afford fancy cars. It's incredible though. This is absolutely incredible. Just Saturday in this park was the perfect time to do this because I can really, without going too overboard, without getting crazy and doing stupid things and causing damage to the car, I can still convey what it's truly like to drive one of these. This is wonderful. Let's go ahead and make sure it's still in sport mode. We're gonna kind of come up here and level out, and I'm gonna see what the acceleration feels like in this thing. Now this is, of course, the base Cayman with the 2-liter flat 4, 0 to 60 in about 4.5. So let's just hit it. Now there is a bit of turbo lag, and then it starts picking up. Oh my God, I believe every bit of it too. That is beautiful. Now it's not like, you know, with some of the electric cars or, you know, where it's gonna pin you to the seat as hard as it can, but you still feel that power. It's so nice. Here we're doing about 30 some. Let's give it some acceleration. Yeah, there is a bit of turbo lag in your 2-liter Turbo 4. That is something to keep in mind. If you hate turbo lag with an absolute passion, then this is probably not the configuration for you. But if you don't mind a little bit of lag, in fact, I think it's kind of cool. You're like, nothing, and bam, turbo. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's almost old school like that. I don't mind it so much. It's still fast. It's still fun. Let's pop this thing over in manual mode. Let's bring her to a stop here. This is, of course, the 7-speed PDK, standing for, in English, Porsche dual clutch transmission. I'm not going to try to say that again. We'll use the paddle shifters up here and see how those shifts feel in sport mode. Oh, they're so quick. They feel so good. I mean, they really feel like anything. But the shifts are nice and quick. If there's any shift lag whatsoever, it's so microscopic that you almost can't even tell. It's so fast. I love that. This is a really cool car. And this is just the base model. As fun as this thing is, I can only imagine how fun the Cayman S or even the GTS 4.0 is. And don't even get me started on the Cayman GT4 RS, something I'll probably never have a chance to drive. I really probably need to just go start begging to the local Porsche dealership. I do want to do one more acceleration run, not in sport mode. I want to see if that feels any different whatsoever. In some cars, there's barely a feel. Of course, these are more mainstream pedestrian cars. But in a car like this, I imagine it'll feel a lot different. So, automatic mode, no sport mode. Let's see if this feels any worse than sport mode. Oh, I mean, if it's any slower, it's only by a very, very small bit. Once again, a microscopic figure. All right, I got to run this stretch just one more time because that was just so much fun. Hey, this thing just kills, dude. This thing is so great. Oh, I love it. This car is so much fun. I don't know. Now, do I want to buy a truck? I'm looking for a truck. Do I want to buy a truck or do I just want to get a Porsche? Oh my God. Nope. Got to get a truck. Got to get a truck. Got to get a truck. But this thing is so, so great. I'm definitely enjoying my time with it. I say it about a lot of cars, but I do not want to give this thing back. Oh, this thing deserves to be taken up to the dragon, the tail of the dragon. This would be so great, so great. Oh my God, okay, I'm done. Let's go back. Last curve before we go back. Oh my God, so great. Okay, I'm done. I promise I'm done. And one more thing that's fixing to be extremely special about the 718 Cayman is the fact that it is a gasoline powered car. I was just reading a Car and Driver article saying that the new 2025 718 Cayman will be all electric and will share almost nothing with this current outgoing model. Right around 4 to 450 horsepower, I think is what I saw. And they're going to pretty much put a lot of the weight, which would mostly be batteries, in pretty much the same area that you got the engine here on the gasoline car, to try to maintain weight distribution going into the electric generation. I'm also seeing estimates that it's going to cost about $15,000 more than the current base model car. So you're talking about starting price right around $80,000. So your current generation through 2024 718 Cayman is going to be the last gasoline powered 718 we get, and then it goes all electric. So get one while you can. If you're in the market for one of these, get it, because 2024 will be the last year of gasoline power for this model. What a shame, because this is just such a great car. I'm sure the electric version will be a fun car to drive, but it's just not going to have the soul. What I hope Porsche does is take a page out of Hyundai's book and how they made the Ioniq 5N, and maybe they can get a little bit of inspiration for that and try to make it a fun sports car and not just an incredibly fast EV coupe. But I guess we'll see here late 24 into early 25 how that goes. All right, y'all, so that's gonna do it for the Porsche 718 Cayman. All I can say is, what a car. Incredibly balanced, wonderful handling, fast enough for pretty much anybody. If you want ridiculous all-out speed, then yeah, go for the GTS 4.0 or the GT4 RS. But if you don't want to spend $100,000 and you just want a fast, fun weekend, tail of the dragon car, this is definitely what you need to look at. This thing is an absolute blast to drive around in. And as someone who's never driven a Porsche before, or really any German car, but especially a German car like this one, I am incredibly pleased with my first Porsche experience. I hope to have many more after this, because this thing is incredible. And at $46,000, it's not the most expensive sports cars either. Do I know a lot about long-term reliability? No. I know that some Porsches have reliability issues. That's not really something that I looked into for this video, however, so I do apologize on that one. But if you are looking at one of these, do a little bit of research and see if it's something you want to deal with. If you're up for it, definitely go out and try one of these, and I think you'll definitely like it. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it, and I really enjoyed making it. Once again, huge special thanks to the folks at West Chevrolet here in Alcoa, Tennessee for allowing me to use this amazing vehicle for today's review. Once you're done watching, make sure you click that link in the description below to check out their website. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share the video, follow on Facebook and Instagram, which are two other great ways to get notified when new videos go up. Thanks for being here, y'all. I will see you in the next one.